Okay, so what is the solution? The solution is there is something called as product allocation. Okay, so this product allocation is one of the functionality in SAP which allows you to enter these details in the system itself, so that system already knows that I'm only going to give 20 units to any other customer because 80 units are going to be consumed by my regular customers only. So what I'll do is in product allocation, I'll
just one correction. I think in the example it is 90, but I'm talking about 80. So 50, 30, 10. 90 is already consumed. So we are left with 10.
Clearly mentioned that this material will be given to customer number 1, 50 units, customer number 2, 10 units, and customer number 3, 30 units. And if there is anything which is left, then only that would be given to any other customer. Right? So this product allocation functionality is not a new functionality. Product allocation functionality was also available in SAP ECC, but it was only available if you are using APO in addition to ECC. Okay, so this product allocation related shakings, product allocation related checks, they were not part of the normal SAP ECC system. They were integrated with the APO module. Okay, so what was happening is, if I try to show you this in figures, let's assume this is your SAP ECC system. Okay, and in addition to this SAP ECC, there is a separate APO system. So you are creating a sales order here. Your sales order will be created in SAP ECC system, and the product availability check with product allocation will take place in SAP APO. Okay, so every time whenever a sales order is created, if you want to do this product allocation, it has to go through APO, and then APO will tell you whether the quantity would be available or not. It will again come to ECC, and system will behave accordingly at the time of creation of sales order. So what is the problem here? There is no problem as such. Okay, there is this particular functionality was used from years in SAP system. But now what SAP is trying to do with SAP S4HANA is, in SAP S4HANA, SAP is trying to bring most of the functionalities of SAP APO in SAP S4HANA system. So ECC, you know, is replaced with S4HANA. So with SAP S4HANA, what SAP is doing is, let's assume that this is another system. Okay, this time this is, just give me a minute. Okay, this is SAP S4HANA system. And in S4HANA system, what SAP has done is embedded APO functionalities. Okay, I'm not saying all the functionalities of APO are embedded in S4HANA. Currently, we are focusing on this ATP functionality. Okay, so this product allocation functionality, which was part of SAP APO till now it is becoming part of SAP S4HANA system. Okay, so in SAP ECC, you were able to do the basic product availability check, PAC. Okay, which was this one, the first scenario that we have seen. So basic product availability check is very much possible in SAP ECC system. If you are using SAP APO, and if you want to use this product allocation functionality, it is part of GATP in APO. So within APO, there is a subcomponent called as global ATP, which allows you to do this product allocation. Okay, but now in SAP S4HANA, since SAP came up with this embedded APO functionality, they are calling it as advanced ATP. Okay, so what is advanced ATP? Advanced ATP is a feature of, or I can say capability of SAP S4HANA to perform the ATP checks directly within the main system. Okay, so this is basic. In SAP ECC, you can do basic ATP. In SAP APO, you can do global ATP. And in SAP S4HANA, you are merging these two into one single box, and that is the reason the new name is given, that is advanced ATP. Okay, and within advanced ATP, currently what we are looking at is one functionality called as product allocation. Okay, so let me show you this in terms of the system now, how exactly these things will work in SAP system. Okay, so for this, I already created some data. So to demonstrate this particular area, I already created one material. So if I show you the material number, if you go to MM03, I created this material AATP-PAL. Okay, and this material, let me show you some of the important settings which you need to maintain in the material master if you want to activate advanced ATP. So for this material, I'll just go through all the views that I maintained just to make you understand what is the purpose of different views. Okay, so I'm using the standard company code 1710, storage location 171A, sales organization again 1710, and distribution channel 10. Okay, so no need to worry about this first one. Let's go to the second. This is also fine. Sales of all the normal things, nothing new here. In sales of 2 also nothing new. Now in this one, you can see this availability check. So in SAP ECC, also this field was available, right? Whether you want to perform the availability check at the individual level or you want to do this at the collective level. So daily requirement, individual requirement, these were some of the things that we were maintaining here. Okay, now I'll show you this one. I just created Z1. You can also, if you want, you can change the standard ones, which is not recommended. So if you want to make any changes, you should copy it, create it your own, and then you make whatever changes you want. Okay, so I just copied the 01 to Z1, and in Z1, one of the very important thing that you need to make sure is you activated the advanced ATP functionality. So what you need to do is in this product availability check, okay, which you normally would be able to find in sales and distribution, basic functions, availability check, no, just give me a minute. Yeah, define availability checking group. Okay, so here this C1, Z1, this is just a copy of 01. You can see most of the things, it is a copy of 02. You can see most of the things are related to 02 only. That also I'll tell you why I copied 02, why not 01. Okay, so you can see all other settings mostly are related to 2. What I've done is I maintain this as active. This advanced ATP must be activated. Okay, so if this is not activated, then definitely this product allocation functionality will not work. Okay, now there is one change in 01 and 02 also if you compare this to ECC. In ECC, we were using this daily requirement when you wanted to do the summarization. Okay, so for example, if you get 4 sales orders against the same material, so what is the total requirement on that particular day? That was getting aggregated in the daily requirements. Okay, but from session 1, we are talking about SAP S4HANA. In SAP S4HANA, there are no aggregations. Okay, and that is the reason now there is no difference between 01 and 02. Okay, both, because even 01 will not allow you to do the aggregations and store into the table. Each and every sales order will be recorded separately and their requirements will be taken care separately, order by order. Okay, no need to worry about from the ATP point of view here. Just remember whatever you are creating under advanced ATP. Okay, again, no need to worry about this ticks also. So what I wanted to show you is this advanced ATP must be set as active. This is very important. If you don't activate it, then definitely for this particular requirement type, for this particular availability check, system will not be able to perform the advanced ATP functionality. Okay, so this is number 1. Now, there are some other configurations which you also make sure that those are done in the system in order to set up the advanced ATP functionality. Let me show you those functionalities, those configurations. So most of the configurations of advanced ATP you will be able to see in this cross application components. Within this cross application components, if you go to there is a separate folder advance available to promise. Okay, in this advance available to promise, you can see this product availability check, product allocation, backorder processing. So there are various different functionalities which are part of advanced ATP. Okay, and currently what we are discussing about product allocation. So just make sure that this activate product allocation is set as yes. Okay, so even if your advanced ATP is active, but if you don't activate this product allocation, then within advanced ATP, you will not be able to use the product allocation functionality. Okay, so just again, make sure that product allocation is activated from here. Okay, other things related to the sales order. Okay, so let me show you one example. Okay, instead of going through the configuration, let's take a scenario and then we will come back to the configurations. Right, so I already shown you one material. So this is our material that we created, and we will see the scenario by using the same material. So AATP-PAL is my material, which I'll be using to demonstrate the functionality of product allocation. Okay. Now, in APO, as I told you, this functionality, product allocation functionality, was available in APO also. But what was the problem here? The problem was, see, you need to do some configurations in SAP ECC, and you also need to do the separate configurations in APO. So if you want to use product allocation, there has to be some configuration here, there has to be some configuration here, and there has to be data movement from one box to another box. Okay, now since we only have one single application, we for this advanced ATP, at least we don't need the separate APO box. That is the reason all the configurations are merged into one. Okay, all the configurations are available here itself. Number two, if you think about the configuration, so all the configurations which were required here and here, they were SPRO configurations. Okay, and you know, if it is SPRO configuration, it has to come to the consultant. Okay, user will not be able to do all these configurations on their own because they don't have access to touch SPRO. So every time if there is any change in the product allocation, if there is any thing that you need to do in the product allocation, it was coming to the consultants to do those changes. Okay, but now in SAP S4HANA Advanced ATP functionality, there are only few configurations which are SPRO. All other configurations which were configurations here, now those are not called as configurations because they can be done directly by the end user using very simple Fiori apps. Okay, so let me show you which Fiori app we are talking about. So this is SAP Fiori screen. Let me just show you what are the different applications which are related to product allocation. Okay, so this is SAP Fiori, and in SAP Fiori, there is a separate group called as product allocation. Okay, so if you want to see this, obviously, I hope you already seen my SAP Fiori session where I explained if you want to see a particular group, how to make yourself updated there. So like what roles you need to add to your user ID in order to see those apps. So for product allocation also, there is a separate role available from SAP. You need to assign that role to the user ID, then only you'll be able to see all these things in your Fiori Launchpad. Okay, so this is 1909 system, and you can see here in product allocation, I can see 6 different applications, 6 different tiles. Okay, so I will go in the backward direction because otherwise it will be very difficult for you to understand. So in the backward directions, I mean, what I need to do is I need to tell the system, let's take the same scenario that we were discussing. I want to tell the system that for this particular material, that is AATP-PAL, I want to allocate this material to different customers. Okay, I want to make sure that the product is allocated to the customer. So in order to allocate the product to the customer, what you need to do is you need to go to manage product allocation planning data. This is where you will be telling the system which customer will get how much quantity of a particular product. Okay, so once you come here, there are different product allocation objects. Just click on go. Okay, so I'll show you how to create a product allocation object also, but let me first show you what I already created. So this is AATP_PAL is a product allocation object that I created, and in this one I entered the planning data. Okay, which means I already told the system